This part is going to go into the transmission of plant viruses by insects. When we look at viruses, viruses don't go anywhere outside of the plant until they're liberated. Even then, they need something to be able to move them from one host to the next. These things that cause the movement are called vectors. When you're looking at a vector, normally we're thinking of an insect that has piercing, sucking mouthparts. It puts its mouthparts into the plant. As it does that, it brings virus back with it. There are 3 types of transmission that we get by vectors. The first one says it's non-persistent. This is stylet-borne. Time of retention is hour to day. Notice single day. What happens there is basically the insect comes over with its piercing, sucking mouthparts, puts them into the plant. As it does that, it gets the piercing, sucking mouthpart contaminated with virus. When it's finished feeding there, it goes over to the next plant, sticks it in. Since the mouthparts are contaminated with virus, this virus will then be transmitted onto the new plant. We have what we call semi-persistent or circulative, day to month retention. Insect feeds, the virus gets in to the organism. It stays inactive inside of the organism. Every time the organism feeds, it puts back some of the saliva that will help in the feeding process. There will be transmission of the virus because the material is inside of the insect. Therefore, you get a transmission window of day to a month. Then we have persistent, which says it's circulative and propagative, which means it deals with the insect. It lives inside of the insect and it's able to stay inside of the insect, which means it's going to remain in the insect for the life of the insect. How long do insects live for? It really depends on a lot of different scenarios. When we're looking at the persistent type, we see a lifetime, different types of insects we have here. These are aphids. These are often called plant lice. They've got piercing, sucking mouthparts. They're basically born fertile. They produce young rather than laying eggs. They will produce a lot of insects. Are quite problematic on a lot of different kinds of plants. These are psyllids. They live under a little canopy that they produce so that they are able to protect themselves from invaders. When you see something like this, normally they're covered up. They're not moving too far. These are winged aphids. The winged aphid can get up and move from one plant to another, whereas other types of aphids may have to walk or be blown from one place to another. These actually have the ability to get up and fly. Piercing, sucking mouthparts, you can see down in the center of its head, it's got a mouthpart that it's using to feed. This is whitefly. Whitefly is one of the worst problems you get in nurseries, in greenhouses. These whitefly will hop from plant to plant. They will fly around from plant to plant. They're very problematic in greenhouses. They serve as excellent vectors of viruses. Over here we have a plant hopper. The plant hopper, again, it's got the piercing, sucking mouthparts. This type here can transmit bacteria. It can also transmit viruses. Here's your nematode, and this is something we might not think about, but nematodes, since they get in there and they feed like this, they get their stylet into the root. They can get the stylet contaminated. There are certain viruses that they pick up. They are able to transmit. When we're looking at nematodes, even nematodes can be a problem because of the way they feed. Again, they've got a piercing, sucking type mouthpart. These are little midges. These basically rasp on the outer part of this. They have this rasping type mouthpart. Once the adult is formed, it's going to take off. It could possibly transmit it to another plant. This is our last one. We can't leave this out. This is a parasitic seed plant. This is called dodder. Dodder is quite problematic because dodder easily transmits viruses. When you look at this particular plant, we talk about it in the parasitic seed plant part. When it gets on top of the plant, this orange spaghetti-like material, it actually wraps around the plant. It makes haustoria that go in and communicate with the vascular system of the plant. In doing so, you get transfer of sap and other nutritious material into the dodder. The dodder's got its own vascular system, so that material gets spread apart inside of the dodder. If you've got a plant that's infected with a virus on one side, the virus will actually migrate through the vascular system of the dodder to another plant that it is in contact with. You can get transmission there. We did this in class where we took a strand of dodder We had 2 plants. They were both tomato plants. We put the piece of daughter down around the base of each one. It grew into the tomato plants. One of the tomato plants was inoculated with a virus. The other plant started to show symptoms as well. You can get transmission of this through here. The other thing you might find is, since this is transmitted by birds, you might have a plant where the daughter picks up a viral pathogen. Bird takes a piece of this material over to another plant, sets it down on the other plant to build its nest. The daughter grows out into the new plant and creates a mess there as well. So when we look at these, all of these are possible vectors of viruses on plants.